What up, y'all? It's Araneae Storm checking in. Finally, we are dropping the Rising Sign fucking series. I've probably been talking about this shit for probably about, 2 years now? I'm like, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna do it. Just a little bit more tarot, a little bit more learning, a little bit more soul searching in this shit. And finally, we are here. Whee! I was gonna add special effects, but bam, there go your special effects. So we're going to start off with Aries, and then we're going to move our way on to all the way through Pisces. Before I do start this Rising Sign series, for those of y'all that are just first tuning in. First of all, I don't even think I introduced myself. Hello, my name is Araneae Storm. I am a astrologer. I probably should, I'm not gonna edit this out, what the fuck. I also do North Node and South Node activations, as well as Mars activations as well. So if you want to know what that is, if you want to get a little taste, make sure you visit my website. And my website is araneastorm.wix.com/info, and you can find all my info there. Linktree/AraneaStorm, and all my social media at AraneaStorm. But let's get into it, and without further ado, the Rising Sign series. And for those of y'all, once again, that are just now tuning in, and you're like, what is a rising sign? I only know about my sun. I'm not really sure what my moon is. I'm not really sure what all these placements are that make me up as a human being and a person through these wonderful stars. Well, look no further. I am here to tell you and share some of the things that I know about rising sign. As me, I'm a Pisces rising, but we are starting with Mars and Aries, Aries rising. For those of y'all that don't know, rising sign is what you see when you, it's like light, that's what's coming to me. The rising sign is what you see when you first meet somebody. So let's just say, like, when you're introduced to a person or you first meet somebody and you're trying to guess their zodiac sign, I am one of those people. I'm like, are you maybe you are and so what I've noticed is when I do guess somebody's sign, even if I'm not exactly guessing their sun sign, usually 9 times out of 10 when we do go further into their chart, I'm usually picking up on their Mercury, which I will get into later on, or I'm picking up on their rising sign off of first meeting them. And they're like, whoa, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like, because I does this, boo. But anyway, your rising sign is the mask. You know, it's the face that you see in the world. You know, the first time you meet somebody, you are seeing their rising sign. It is the canvas of their appearance. So for me personally, as a Pisces rising, I have a long, elongated torso. I have long legs. You know, I look like a mermaid, like my sister all the time. She's like, you just look like a little mermaid. Like, you look like a mermaid. You look like basically like a fish out of water. You know, that's, as a Pisces rising, I have very long, like a long body, like I said, a long torso. It, honestly, if I stood up right now, but you know, my ass is kind of fat, so it might not get the whole whatever. If I stood up and I showed you my legs, like, if I didn't have like my actual legs, it would look like I had like the mermaid, I want to call it a fin, or the mermaid tail. It looked like I had a mermaid tail, like, before I actually grew legs to quote unquote walk, you know. So it's very interesting to first, you know, when you first meet somebody, like what they look like, how they come off. And these are the things that you come across when you're meeting your rising sign. It's also when you're first born. This is what sets up your houses. And the rising sign changes every 2 hours, so it definitely varies. Even if you were born on the same day as a person, it changes every 2 hours. And it sets you up for the rest of your houses. And we will get into houses in astrology, but we're going to start with our placements first, our birth, our personal planets first, then we'll start with our outer planets, and then I'll get more in depth with astrology, or more in depth with the planets and the houses and things like that. But that's just like an overview of the rising sign. But without further ado, we're going to get into Aries, and then we are going to move on into Taurus. So for my Aries risings, this is the energy of Mars. So it's a very fiery, hot energy. It's very playful. It's very outgoing. It's very like direct, and it tells you what it means, and it means what it says. And Aries, it definitely depends on what your Mercury is, and it also depends on what your moon is, because your moon definitely plays a part of your rising sign. But most Aries rising people that I know, they come off as real, they loud as fuck, especially when they drunk, they loud as hell, they're ready to throw blows, you know what I'm saying? If it comes down to it, they want all the smoke. This is cardinal energy, so it's a very start go energy. It can be very childlike, very independent, very self-reliant. It's like, I don't really need too many people to do things that I could do for myself. I can take the charge. It's very enthusiastic. It's very fun, loving, very just likes to go for adventures. It's kind of like Sagittarius in a sense, but I would say Aries is more like the baby, where just Sagittarius is more like the old, the old man, kind of sitting on the, mountaintop, and it's like, I'm ready for the adventure. I've seen it all. I've traveled all around the world. Aries is just like, ooh, goes into a candy store, and it's like, ooh, I want this, I want to try this, I want to do this. You know what I mean? Who's gonna play me in kickball? It's Aries rising. It's the leader of the group, You'll see Aries rising people, they will be the ones that be like, oh, are we going to the bar? Okay, we're going to the bar. Then let's go to this bar. I want to go to this bar. I want to do this. And then sometimes it can definitely be like kind of the headbutters of the group too. Like if you don't agree with what Aries rising got to say, it can definitely create that headbutting energy of like, well, I said this is what I want, and y'all gonna do it. And then it's like, if you disagree with me, then I can punch you in the face. And once again, not all Aries risings is like this, but I have noticed they are very, Aries rising is very in your face. It also rules the head. So I've noticed too, if we're talking about appearance, Aries rising their heads are very stout. Like they have very like stone bone heads. Like if you were to, we all can be hard-headed in the sense when you knock up somebody's head, of course it's our skull, but like they knock you and it's like, god damn shit, you know what I mean? Like, and also when it comes to, their full body, they have a very, Aries suns and Aries rising, they just have very solid features, solid bones. You try to pick an Aries up or an Aries rising up, and it's like, oh my God, you weigh a ton. And not necessarily saying like a motherfucker that weighs like 300 pounds or something like that, but just they have a natural stone ground build. It's just like a soldier or a knight in armor. It just weighs. It's just a very heavy. It's warrior energy. So it's like a warrior in a suit. And you're trying to pick a warrior and it's all this suit up. It's like, god damn, you heavy as shit. What Aries rising has come to learn, even though it's not North Node or Sun sign, but it's still come to learn the lessons of Libra as well, because it is this opposite sign. So it's come to learn how to be diplomatic. Aries wants what it wants, it does what it wants, it says what it wants, and it doesn't really think about what it says or what it's gonna do or who is pleasing or who is not pleasing. It just is. And sometimes for Aries rising, it can get a little carried away, into a point where no return, and so a Libra comes in to balance out the energy of Aries. And like sometimes you do have to consider other people, sometimes you do have to you know, think about the group. Sometimes you do have to think about, you know, people other than yourself. No shade, Aries. It just, you know, it is what it is. You know what you want, you know what you like. And, you know, nobody can really tell you anything different, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think, you know, we all zodiac signs, we balance each other out. You know, all 12 signs have that opposite or opposition sign that balances, you know, we balance each other out. Definitely loves to get things off the ground, loves to take action, courage, strength. Like Aries rising people will give you that just off of GP. They don't really have to do too much. It's just, you know what I mean? Just them leading by example, just them by leading by their livelihood, by their life, their everyday getting up and getting it every day. That is Aryan nature. That is Aryan spout. Exercise. And I said this in the Mars retrograde video. I know this is not a Mars retrograde video, but when you can, Aries, exercise as much as you can. Like, get that. You have a lot of like Energizer Bunny energy, and not Gemini Energizer Bunny energy, but you have so much energy to give and so much energy that just sits and rests in you in that first house, that you need to be able to like really exercise and really just, you know, use that energy to fuel, you know, and build up that sacral chakra energy, you know, solar plexus energy. I would definitely say, even though this is not a chakra reading, but I would definitely say for you Aries risings, like surround yourself with like yellows, surround yourself with oranges, but also on the other end of that, definitely surround yourself with like greens, you know, blues, you know, to kind of temper that energy too. You know, you love spontaneity, you love that switch up. So, you know, just use color to kind of, you know, keep that fire ignited, but also balance it out with a little bit of sense of calm and coolness. Mentally, physically, engagement. So since you are Aries risings, and this also can go for sun too, but we're not talking about the sun, we are talking about the rising still. Growing up, you could have possibly been isolated as a child because innately you were so independent. So your parents, or you know, the people that raised you, could have kind of isolated you or just kind of let you have like that freedom because you were just so free. You probably maybe had difficulty with the same sex parent, only because you have such a dominance about you already that anybody that tried to come between that, specifically, you know, a parent that was of the same sex as you, you know, y'all could have clashed or bumped heads early on in life. You love to chart your own path. You didn't like anybody telling you what to do. So you were just like, this is how I'm going to do it. This is my way. And so you had, just because you had a lot of that appearance or independence, you could have had trouble growing up really, even though you innately had it inside of you, you could have had a lot of trouble like expressing yourself growing up. So as you get older and as you ascend into your sun, or ascend, you know, your ascendant, and then you ascend into your sun, like you learn the lessons of Aries and your sun, and gaining that own sense of independence and knowing yourself at your core and knowing yourself at your truth and really just embodying that Aryan spirit. It says, as one gains awareness, it is primal, powerful, and is very assertive. So, you know, you act off of instinct, you know. I would definitely say for Aries, I mean, we all should, but definitely for you, study animals. Animals that live close to the desert, animals that live close, you know, that live in the jungle, that live in the wild, because that's the type of energy that Aryan in itself, I mean, most all, especially Leo too, but most all signs, but specifically for you in this, is like you embody that energy. So study those animals in order to gain like a sense of self and how you move and things. You know, cheetahs, that's something that's coming to mind. That cheetah like energy, that fast pace, fast moving. Panthers, you know, those type of energies are definitely energies I would say to study and just learn a little bit more about, to see how just see how you come off and see how you move. Yeah, self-starter, loves to get down to business, especially. The only thing, once again, I'll say is just learn how to not only be diplomatic and like sharing yourself with other people, but just allowing yourself to, even if you are in groups and you are, integrating yourself in different groups, being okay with keeping like your individual, which you are, but keeping your own individual ideals and your own sense of self. Libra can get really muddled in the group settings and things like that. But for you, Aries, you do have that sense of self, but it's okay to kind of let go and sometimes, move with the group as well. I know that general energy come at you and you be like, well, this is how, I know that. I know the plan. I know it. You know what I mean? You can't tell me. And we get it. But you do have to let other people in and be able to bounce off ideas off of each other and being able to, work in groups and things like that. And I feel like that would definitely balance like your independence out. And just your need for connection to other people, because you don't really have a problem with meeting people and starting friendships. It's just just balancing that Librian energy out with yourself. But other than that, that is my summary of Aries rising. It's a very fiery, once again, passionate sign to be. It's very adventurous. It loves new things. And yeah, here we are. We're starting off. We're going in. So shout out to my Aries rising. We're going to be moving over to Taurus rising. Y'all know where to find me. It's araneastorm.wix.com/info if you want to book a reading with me. North Node, South Node, Mars activations. And also, if you just want to get to know a little bit more about Araneae Storm. All right. Linktree /Araneae Storm. And also you can find me on all social medias at Araneae Storm. You already know what it is. Thank y'all for rocking with me. And until then, Araneae Storm, check it in, check it out. Peace.